I didn't think I would be making this kind of video, but guys, I quit. Let me explain why. For a long time, I've been known for many skills. I've been known for graphic design, I've been known for web hosting, web development, business consultancy, and so on and so forth. You are probably a subscriber to this channel because you found value in one of the videos, especially those that target business consultancy. And I appreciate you for being one of the subscribers, but let me explain. The reason why I got all those skills is that my logic back then was that to use the skills that are in my hand. And if I can tell you, I didn't start with all those skills, yeah? I started with sales. Sales was the only skill that I had. I started selling life insurance policies. At some point, I started selling GPS systems. Then I moved on and now I was selling graphic design and branding and things like that. But at some point, life forced me to be on my own. All I had was sales. So I thought to myself, let me actually develop a skill, and then since I know how to sell already, let me begin by selling this skill. Finding clients shouldn't be that hard. Then I remembered, I already somehow know exactly how to do graphic design. Because back then when I used to be a rapper, I used to design my own cover art. But it was just basic and mediocre. It wasn't really corporate design, you know? So I decided to go back to the drawing board, get skilled up in corporate design, and we were good to go. Before I knew it, I was having clients here and there. Then at some point I thought, okay, let me add on web development because I fell for what is called the skills propaganda. And to me, it was something to pursue because I just dropped out of medical school because finances, of course. So with all this skill stack, I thought to myself, you know what, let me build a business around it. And that's how Rubikon Ventures came about. Before it was called Rubikon Ventures, it was called Fifth Dimension Business Solutions, but that was too long. So I just decided to change the name, to change it to Rubikon Ventures. And what was Rubikon Ventures doing? Graphic design, hosting, web development, business consultancy, just around my skill stack. You see, that identity served this purpose for a time, but at some point it lived this purpose. And over the past few years, I've just gotten to a point where I see life differently now. My attention has shifted to seeing how systems actually work and how they behave over time. Their incentives, their constraints, their outcomes, and patterns that repeat regardless of intention. I once saw a video of a guy, I just couldn't find it, I would have tagged it in this video. There was a guy who was saying, hey, come back, bro. All that intelligence won't do anything for you. Trust me. Just come back, bro. Act dumb. All that understanding where we're from, understanding why we're here, it won't get you anywhere. Just come back, bro. Just enjoy this moment. Just act dumb and enjoy why we're here. Don't begin thinking about the nature of the universe. But for me, I moved in the opposite direction. I actually wanted to understand the nature of the universe, how this whole thing actually works. My first point was I started observing the economic machine. I was looking at this thing and I was like, what keeps this alive? What keeps this moving? And what I discovered was this economic system needs your attention, energy, and time. And this system is ruthless about all these things, especially in low-income communities. If you make the mistake of finding yourself at the bottom of the food chain, the economic machine will take away all your energy, attention, and time. And before you know it, you have nothing left for yourself. A classic example is being a laborer who gets paid something like maybe 1,850 kwacha. That is only enough for food and transport to survive for the whole month. By the time that you're reaching month end, you'd have been broke, probably gotten into some credit and things like that for you to survive for the next month. Meaning that everything that you're working for is being consumed month by month. Before you know it, you would have spent 6 to 7 years in the same position. Before you know it, 10 to 50 years would have passed and you would have walked away with just a small package of gratuity. In some companies, they don't even give you gratuity or any exit package. So you end up just giving this system all your attention, energy, and time and walk away with nothing. Very, very unfortunate end. And this is one thing that really annoyed me because all these systems are designed almost the same. How? You find that in almost every system, there are always implementers, there are organizers, and there are those that create ideas and those that own the whole system, right? What you tend to find is that those that are implementing at the bottom here get paid the least, despite working the hardest. Those that are managing, those that are implementing will probably get paid more. These are the managers, these are the supervisors and things like that, right? Then we have the owners here and those that create those ideas. Those guys get paid the most, and every system is like that. So the reason why I said I fell for the skills propaganda is because the skills propaganda puts you at the bottom here where you're the implementer. And what will an implementer get in the whole system? They'll get paid the least. This is where all this skills-based work lies. It lies on the implementation level. All this graphic design, all this web development, all this consultancy sits at the implementation level. It might be intelligent, but it's tied specifically to personal output, meaning that you need to put in your sweat in order for you to get paid. And that is a recipe for being stuck forever. When you break into any of these markets, especially if you are a business owner, maybe you're a freelancer or things like that, when you break into this market, of course, at first you feel like you're progressing, right? You're getting clients here and there and things like that. But you understand that at some point you reach a physical limit where you can't be able to service the many clients that you'll be at. And unfortunately, that will keep your income at a certain ceiling. You can't exceed that unless you bring in other people. Now, if you're able to bring in other freelancers and manage them, use their time, consume their time, and be the one that just organizes all these people, that is a higher point of leverage, and of course you'll be able to make more. But what are we saying? All implementation level skills reach fatigue at a certain point. There's a certain dream that I have. There's a certain place where I want to take all this business at. There's a certain point where I want to take my life. And being an implementer stuck at a financial ceiling won't get me there. I still enjoy graphic design, you know. When I'm doing all the designs by myself, I actually think like it's a very good form of therapy, you know. I feel like, especially when I enter the flow, I feel like time is not moving and things like that. I still enjoy that. But will it get me to the financial goal that I want to get to? No. See, this concept that I observe, it plays out into almost every facet of society. Even the so-called highest paid, for example, doctors. Doctors are relatively high paid in almost every society. But let me tell you this. If that doctor is working at a private hospital, probably getting paid something like 40 to 60,000 kwacha if you're here in Zambia, if that hospital can be able to afford to pay you 60,000 kwacha, how much is the owner actually making? How much is the consultant that is managing all those doctors getting paid? Food for thought, right? So, as you can guess, being a service provider is no longer something that serves me. It's no longer aligned to the level of leverage I want to operate at. That identity has completely lived its purpose. So, I've chosen to step out. So, Rubikon Ventures is shifting operationally. The company will no longer offer graphic design, web development, web hosting, business consultancy, and so on. All those company registration services and things like that. All those are out the window now. Rubikon Ventures will now become a holdings company. And under that portfolio, they are sitting two companies at the moment. There is Nutryvyt Supplements and Nutrition and Nutryvyt Coaching. These are the current assets that we want to focus on and grow. Then later on, we can be able to add other assets to the portfolio. Before this chapter completely closes, I know some of you have found value in the content that I've put on this channel. I'll leave you with all the trade secrets. I'll leave you with all the execution, all the frameworks and things like that. So this is just not going to be goodbye, and we're going to close the chapter just like that. I still have more things to teach you on this channel, so you can still give us a follow and hit the notification bell so that every time that we upload, you're able to get notified. I've got some really valuable content coming your way soon. So that's it. That's what I wanted to share with you. I've quit being an implementer and now I'm going on a different journey. You can follow me on that journey, but I'll leave you with some good knowledge before I close this chapter completely. Well, God bless, be great. See you in the next one.